Hi, I'm Rick Titus, the host of Drivers Talk Radio, and it is my privilege to introduce you to the all-new Ford GT. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I really had to consider how was it I was chosen to get to do this job. At first, I thought, well, perhaps it's the fact that I already bought one. Mine's blue. Then I thought, well, that's probably not it. A lot of people have done that. Maybe it's the fact that I won a racing championship for Ford in Mustangs back in the late 80s. Probably not it either. Then it did occur to me I am the son of a very famous Ford racer and championship winner from the 60s, Jerry Titus. No, that wasn't it. I suspect in the end, my friends at Ford just got tired of me begging to do it. I really wanted this privilege to talk about such an important automotive icon. Now, in the course of this DVD, there are things we'd like to accomplish. For those of you who already don't know it, we want to talk briefly about the history and the legacy that is Ford GT. We'd also like to talk about, well, frankly, how much this car helps contribute to the future of Ford. It is not hollow words when they talk about it as a pace car for an entire car company. And if you're a new owner, well, we'd like to help you understand some very unique features of operating a world-class supercar. And of course, there's some exciting technical details in here that I can't wait to show you. Now, real quickly, let's walk back. You know, the second you get handed the keys to this car, and these are the keys to this car, you're instantly reminded of what this car has accomplished, what it did. And we deliberately started at the back. That's not generally done in this kind of intro tape. But this is, in fact, probably the best recognized automotive flank in the entire world. And should you doubt me, ask any Ferrari racer from the 60s, because that's what they got to see of these cars. Purpose-built and mission-driven. In 1966, they go to Le Mans, and an American car company comes in 1, 2, 3. Some thought it a fluke. Others thought it was absolutely world-shattering. They came back and did it in 67, 68, and 69. At that juncture, Ford said, I think we've proven our point, and the Ford GT gets retired. Well, here it is again, the rebirth and certainly modernization of a classic and historically significant automobile. How good is it? How well does it live up to, well, the history of this car? How about 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds? How about drivability that makes it a cinch for virtually anyone to drive in a real-world environment or on a racetrack? Or how about a 205 mile an hour top speed? That's a world-class supercar, but with the behavior of a world-class production car. Key design issues. Well, obviously this key flank and the monstrous taillights. This backlight, which was so much a part of the shape of these highly aerodynamic 200 mile an hour cars. A huge issue from the 60s, the side scoops on Ford GTs and the airflow management into the engine bay. And one that just set this car apart from everybody in the world, the cutout into the roof for the driver's doors. You talk about purpose-driven, you talk about form-following function, doors designed to get out of the way for that famous Le Mans start so the drivers could jump right into the cockpit, do their belts, and be gone. And if you look at the old videotapes of those races, you'll see the GTs are the first cars on their way at the start. Of course, the big vents, the airflow management, the famous Monza gas cap up on the fender flanks, and this long flowing front end that exhales all its hot air from the radiator out across the windshield. Just a stunning piece of, well, mechanical genius and aerodynamic form. Now, they say this car is the future of Ford. Let me tell you why. First of all, these engines, this 5.4 aluminum engine, is built on the Romeo plant, on what they call their niche line. It's a specialty line designated to high-performance engines, and at 550 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque, that, folks, is a high-performance engine. The body modeling techniques are some of the most unique ever tried. It's actually called superplastic forming. Rather than getting a stamping dies, it could never possibly form this out, and to not have to build a fiberglass version, but to build an aluminum-bodied car, they actually take these skins of aluminum, heat them to nearly 900 degrees, and with high-pressure air, force them over the molds. That what continues the legacy of one of the sexiest car shapes ever recorded. And of course, the paint process, some of the most exotic I've ever seen. Detail after detail after detail. And of course, the use of very exotic materials. An aluminum space frame, very sophisticated robotic welding techniques, some of the best bonding techniques ever tried, and noise isolation. It is amazing to sit in a car of this power and speed potential and be so isolated from all the harshness that is the real world at those kind of speeds. An important car rich with a lot of modernization. The aerodynamics. This car goes 200 miles an hour and it does so almost dead stable. Note the diffusers at the back of this vehicle. The new Ford GT is completely flat bottom. The attention to detail to airflow management under this car is second to none. It generates 250 pounds of downforce at high speed. Now, if you're noticing the exhaust tips, I should tell you, these are a prototype system, actually approved for production or a larger diameter pipe. I love it. The most modern, sophisticated Goodyear tire in the world. The optional wheels, which also contribute to the breathing of these monstrous Brembo brakes. And then, of course, the side body aerodynamic controls that not only include the vertical panels, but actually have a step out on a horizontal plane called a splitter, again, to manage and accelerate the air underneath the vehicle. Those kind of details and finish in terms of air to flow management continue all the way to the front in a spoiler that is not just a cosmetic item, but actually contains a varying depth splitter in the nose to actually help put more pitch attitude and lower the front of the car. Very sophisticated stuff, from manufacturing techniques, literally to air management techniques and drivability capabilities. And by the way, if you're the new owner of a Ford GT, you've got to love this book that comes with it. It's a portfolio that really kind of gives you a history of what the Ford GT accomplished, some of the best automotive photography I've ever seen, and a great breakout of the development of the all-new Ford GT. It is rare indeed, and particularly in our business, where history repeats itself. For so many of us that wish we could have been a part of the dream in 1966, 67, or 68, or 9, well, the opportunity comes again in the form of the new Ford GT. It really is a world-class supercar, and it really is attainable.